I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Project Architect 2. Now, this is going to be one of the last episodes in the main series here for Project Architect 2, and which means it is going to be World Download Day. So if you're a supporter of any tier, be sure to get your world download, a snapshot of this world in its current state. If you are a supporter on the Discord, a supporter on Patreon, here as a YouTube member, of course on Twitch as well, just make sure everything's linked up over on the Discord. You can find that link down in the description below, or you can go to discord.gg/ChosenArchitect. And of course, let's get on with today's awesome video. So today we should be able to finish the last quest in the pack. And this might end up being one of the last episodes of Project Architect 2, as once we end up completing that final quest, we will have access to unlimited amounts of creative bins and or creative vending upgrades from functional storage, meaning that this basically turns Minecraft into, well, Terraria's journey mode, if you know how that works. You have to make the item, but once you make it, you have unlimited amounts of it. And I would essentially call that in-game. Yes, getting all of the creative stuff or the ability to place any item in a creative bin feels pretty in-game to me. Now, this is the quest that we have been working on, the Beyond Creative part of the endgame. And this has been probably one of the most challenging things that we've done so far, especially with the applied energistic stuff and also with our chaotic capacitor, which was kind of a pain to craft, and also going through the progression of the Bumble Zone. Today, we simply need to craft up a few things from the Bobbly Heart Canisters mod. And also with this, I do want to max out my hearts with the Bobbly Canister mod and get the max amount of hearts possible with the base mod, of course. And then also we have to craft up some of the soul heart crystals. Believe it or not, this is easily doable if you actually set up the Warden farm. So the Warden farm makes this incredibly straightforward to do. And then I also just need to grab out a few gargantuan star omegas, which we only need 8, but we have millions of these available to do. And that should be pretty straightforward. Just drop those in. And then last but not least, we are going to be completing today one of the most interesting quests in here, in my opinion, and that is 1024 Rainbow Coal. And notice right here, rainbow furnaces go boom. Ah, yes. Hint to what we're doing today. We're going to be blowing up some rainbow furnaces. But first, we have some crafting to do. Now, have a seat with me for a moment while we get our crafting up and running. So, we need heart canisters. So, if we search up heart, you can see I've built up all of the patterns for this. Now, I will say there is a technique to actually making this pretty straightforward when it comes to crafting these. What you're going to want to do when building out your recipes is you're going to want to start from the highest tier you have and making sure you have a lot of these blue hearts, which by the way, you get from the Warden. And you want to take them and smelt them down. So create a recipe that smelts the top tier down into this melted blue heart. And then you want to take this blue heart and create the craft down recipes that you see right here leading down through each tier. Then what you want to do is use all of these crafted down melted hearts to then create the recipe for your main hearts while utilizing the lowest tier, which is the red hearts. And you should have a bunch of red hearts that have been generating from just a regular mob farm. Just to show you how this actually crafts, I want to fill a soul amulet. So let's start. I already have a couple of pieces here. Now with the soul amulet, all we have to do is open this up and place 10 soul canisters in here, and then we equip this. So that is already going to give me a bunch of hearts, which is very nice. But there's actually slots for each tier, and you have to go up in tier, for example, the green, the yellow, the blue, and the purple, in order to get those hearts. You can't just like put the reds in or put the purples in and are granted those. No. You have to go kind of in order. But it does stack to 10, and you can only put 10 in. And notice how quick these are to craft. Pretty easy. And applied energistics is kind of going to be required, in my opinion, to actually do this. So if you've gone through RS through your entire playthrough, applied energistics is going to be required specifically for this soul heart canister recipe. And that because it requires a smithing table. And I believe the only way you can automate a smithing table in this pack is via applied energistics. And when you make this recipe, all you have to do is just make sure you have the items selected in here. You build out the smithing pattern with it set like this, and then you just place it inside of your regular pattern grids. That also goes for the stone cutter. They just act as regular crafting table grids, crafting table operations. So nothing fancy you have to do there. You just place it in and just let it rip. So now with that, I have everything. Let's see, green. We also need blue. Let's get that. And then we also need, I think that's it. Yellow, green, blue. So I think this fills it out entirely. Now, once this is filled out entirely, we put that in. We now have some blue hearts, which is very nice. Now, this isn't the only thing that you can do that with. You can actually use the vitality blade as well. And what we can do is shift right click this, and notice you can fill this up. And this is pretty powerful as well. Each time you add those canisters to this, it's going to build up. And of course, I believe you have to have all of them filled in here, just like the last tier. So that one, the red, and then the green. But once you have all of these in, you'll notice the damage goes up for each thing that you have in there, all the way up to 88 maximum damage. And then this sword can actually be modified with apotheosis. So this thing could have some really high damage values associated to it if you spent the time to set up all of the apotheosis stuff. Now at this point, I think with this, we should be able to craft all of this, no problem whatsoever. So we are going to need 5,000, I believe, of the soul heart canisters. So 5,000 of these, and we're going to be able to see what all we're going to be needing for this. Lots of gold for this, especially since we are crafting the enchanted golden apples, but there are many ways that you can actually farm these to avoid using a lot of gold if you don't have it. But we have plenty, and I mean plenty of gold. And then we also are going to need quite a few hearts, but not as many as you might think. It looks like roughly 4,000 or 5,000 or so blue hearts is all that's really required in order to get to this point. But we are going to need 5,000 totems of undying if you didn't get those, and a few nether stars. Outside of that, this is a pretty straightforward craft that is just going to require them to be all processed up. So yeah, just a little bit of smelting, all of that kind of running through, and we should see our smelters kind of going crazy here, I think. They should be running through some smelters, or at least I thought they would be. If I pass through here, maybe not as much as I thought. Or I did get most of them already smelted. Either way, you can see right here, these are all being processed up, and it's going to take about 2.5 minutes. I think it kind of breaks down on the actual time, though, when there are processes involved, and it can't fully calculate the time. What's interesting, though, is I'm noticing what they're connected to right here, and what is actually flashing and kind of crafting. What I could do is I could place these down, and then place some acceleration cards in here, and that should be able to utilize these extra crafters. And I guess while that's also running, might as well get the 10,000 required here that we're going to need of these soul heart crystals. So I'll go ahead and get that placed in as well, and that's going to start crafting up. Now, the cool part about applied energistics is when it initially went to do its craft, it actually pulled everything that it required into storage holding. Now with applied energistics, if you didn't already know this, essentially what it does is it stores it inside of this storage block. And that's how it's able to kind of craft everything from what it stores. And basically leaves any other new craft that we do to pull just from whatever's left over. So it's actually pretty nice that it allows us to do that, allowing us to do consecutive crafts together like this. And believe it or not, these all actually just finished their craft at the same time. That was pretty nice. Now, of course, I want to pull these out, but not by hand. So we're going to get our task screens and just 2 task screens and exporters. And how about we actually use extended exporters? So we can do at extended exporters. These go incredibly fast. So I could probably just place this one right here. And this is going to be, we can go ahead and do the 10,000 soul hearts. I think that'll be reasonable. Place that, get a cable, and get these done. Beautiful. Okay. And then these are soul heart crystals. Put that in there. And then we place in some speed upgrades. And I'm also going to go ahead and remove these because I don't think there's a need for us to have those protruding anymore. There we go. I don't even know how much they actually helped, but still. The extended here, this thing will go incredibly quick, especially whenever you're fully upgraded there and it fully ramps up. So that'll hit the 10K very, very quick. And then we'll take our soul heart canister and then get that ready to place in after this one's done. And should be one more operation, and voila, the heart and soul is done. Ah, what a song actually too. So we'll place this one down. Let's remove this, place that in there. And then this task is going to be hearts as well. Very nice. And that one is going to be even quicker because I think the ramp up is already here. 3,000, 4,000. There we go. And done. Very, very nice. So now with this quest done, we are almost to the finish line. Now we do need the gargantuan, and we have a bunch of these. Is that 112 million worth of these? I think that is. So yeah, we just need 8 of these, which we'll pull out by hand, just like so. And that is probably one of the easier submissions in this quest. But early on, it does make you go, wow, we are going to need a lot of EMC late game, especially if you're looking at that quest and you didn't peer too deeply into the matter quest here. So that one is now finished. And now we're left with one singular task, which I wanted to save for last. And that is the rainbow coal. Now, first, we need to understand how do we actually get rainbow coal in the first place? Well, you're going to need a rainbow furnace and regular TNT. You can't use tiny TNT. You have to use regular TNT for this. And then some redstone of any kind. So yeah, we should be able to use like a redstone block. And we need to blow this up. Now, it doesn't get blown up in item form, and there's no recipe that shows you how this works. Instead, what you have to do is you have to place it down, just like so, on the ground, and then you need to set TNT off near it, you know, within the explosion range. So for example, right here should be within explosion range. When we activate this, we should be able to see that blow up, and what drops in its place is rainbow coal. So this is how we get rainbow coal, and rainbow coal is essentially infinite coal. And all of this hard work, all of this research, all leads us back to our original combustion generator, now allowing us to place our near infinite coal and start working. Yes, that's exactly what you see here. We've gone full round. Now we have all of that work that we've done, just so we can have this one rainbow coal. Very nice. No, all jokes aside, this is a pretty interesting thing that you can use this rainbow coal for. And you can, now that you know how to get it, use it in other mod packs that you might play. But now, all jokes aside, now comes the actual task. We need to get 1,000 or so of them. Now that's a task in itself. So now I was thinking, why don't we go into our little research portable lab here, and inside here we should be able to set up automation for this quite easily. Now we are going to need something that is blast resistant, and obsidian is one of those easy things that is blast resistant. But so is also one of my favorite blocks to build with, and that is tinted glass. And if you didn't know, directly underneath this floor we have bright white anti-blocks. Now, TNT is very interesting in the way that it actually blows up. So TNT will blow up in an area about 3 blocks outside of its initial point. So let's say right here, if it was to explode, it would break the blocks placed here, here, and potentially here, and sometimes here. But really, the blast range, consider it within 3 blocks of the main position where it stands. So when it comes to this tinted glass, I actually want this to be placed right about here. So I'm going to be placing this out, and we are going to need to set up some sort of solution to this that can place the rainbow generators down and then at the same time also trigger the TNT to drop down to destroy where they're positioned at. So now after a bit of testing, I also found that, well, the TNT could, whenever it was dropped, it could actually break all the way out to my hazard blocks here. So I was trying to figure out how exactly could I get these rainbow generators placed in without actually destroying the block that places them. Because to be able to get this to work, you have to have the area unclaimed, so that way it actually destroys these blocks. And I did some testing and found out that at least out to here, if it's on the actual ground below the point where it explodes, it doesn't seem to break it. So that means we should be able to place or have this place the rainbow block directly on top of here. So getting this set up is actually pretty straightforward. We just need a placer module, and we're going to say, hey, place up. Place the item that goes inside, or the block that goes inside, just place it up and place it in each one of these. Now, just to test again, to make sure that it isn't going to destroy any of these, we'll drop it down. Ooh, and it did destroy these. So I think I might have to take this out at least one further, and that might actually solve this. I'll say one more time with it placed a little further out, and that actually seems pretty reliable. I can just send a couple of these. Beautiful. Now, as far as getting the rainbow generators into the modular routers, I'm going to make this pretty straightforward by, well, using more modular routers. Because this kind of allows us to simplify our channel system. We only need one channel in order for this whole thing to kind of work, which is going to be super, super nice. So how is this going to work? Well, we are going to need an item interface that is going to connect down, which we already have a cable that is actually running this entire setup here. And that's going to go into the interface. Now we're going to need a crafting card from Applied. And this is what's going to craft the rainbow generators. Let's go ahead and get one crafted for right now. And they do craft very, very quick. So I put this inside of the slot, and we request 64 of them to keep in stock. And what it will happen is it should craft those. So we should end up getting a craft of these. And it should, hopefully, I say should because it should keep them in stock like we see here. And then what I can do is I can pull them out. So we can see them all happening right here. And so once that 64 is fully crafted, then we should be good to go. It is a lot for it to craft, but there's 64. And I guess I could get each of these going. Like, we know how many rainbow furnaces we're going to need, right? We're going to need 1,028. So, or 24, right? 1,024? 1,024. So we know how many we're going to need. So might as well get 1,024 up and crafted. And so we can start this and we can have them all ready to go. And so this actually shouldn't even need a crafting upgrade card or anything like that. It should just keep them in stock. And once this craft is finished, then we'll know we're ready to trigger this setup for the process on automating it. Now, I got to get the modular router set up for this. So the modular router essentially is going to use these distributor modules to pull from the router, and we're going to round robin. And I want it to send into all of these modular routers. So let's split these up. And this will be going here, 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 until we have all 8 slots filled up. That's why I have 2 cards. And then we'll swap over until all of these are filled. So these are ready to go. And inside of our modular router, we're also going to need a puller upgrade. And this puller upgrade is going to pull from the bottom. And that's what's going to actually pull our rainbow generators into the slots here. And then as soon as we put these in, this should start sending them around. And we'll notice that it will start automatically placing them. Fantastic. Now, as far as picking these items up goes, this is where we should probably drop down underneath this whole setup here. And I should probably break a little hole just right here. And I want to put advanced collector here. And we want to max out the range on this. And then we want to check the range and see, is this going to contain the whole area? Beautiful. It definitely does. So that means that we can pop back down. And what we probably want to do is set a filter on this for the actual coal to be picked up, and then it's going to store the coal back into the interface. So we set it to whitelist mode, and then we place the rainbow coal in there. And now when rainbow coal is dropped in this area, so if I drop this down, it automatically gets collected, and that's exactly what we want. We want them to be picked up before the next round happens, because we don't want our rainbow coal to get exploded, because then that would probably disappear. Now, after setting all of this up, you think with as much as I've used modular routers that I would have remembered this, but there's a blast upgrade. So all of these could have been made blast resistant just by utilizing that one upgrade. But you know, it is what it is. If they do explode, I guess I will just replace them and then put the upgrade in for sure. Now I wanted to go ahead and get my timer set up. Of course, I don't want to set this up on the actual TNT dispenser itself, so I set it up here instead. Now, the time it takes for TNT to explode is 80 ticks. So I was thinking if I set this to 90 ticks, it gives this a moment to explode and then gives it 10 ticks to hold and then send another one out. So that seems like a pretty good delay. I could, of course, send it out at the exact same time, but 90 ticks seem to be the best time for this. And so we're almost ready to go. So that just finished up crafting, which means that, yeah, we are ready to rock and roll. Let's do a couple of tests by hand to place that down. Oh, and then I ended up picking them up. Of course I did. But that should have been 12. I think one of them probably got picked up outside of that. You can see they all got placed down again. All of the coal gets made. Oh, it's actually so satisfying to watch this. Okay, and I think now, with me seeing how good that is, we should be able to set this up. So I want to make sure that I have a good amount of TNT in here. Should be more than enough. And then I need to place my timer down. So I'm going to look towards the side of the block, place it, and we should have perfect timing on this. And that is just insanely satisfying to watch. Like, ridiculously satisfying to watch. Wow. Yeah, I could watch this all day long. I really could. Beautiful. Now, while this is processing, I can actually see the rainbow coal building up. Ah, just beautiful thing to watch. Very, very nice. I think this is the final blast. Maybe one more? No, we need 1,024. No, we are done. We are done. That is it. I think it's just getting through the final 64 that we had extra that crafted. But there it is. That's it. There's only 3 left that have to make it through the explosion, because not every time does this actually explode all of them. But it was so satisfying to watch. And here it is. This is probably the last one. And that is it. So I can now turn this off. We no longer need TNT falling to the ground and exploding. That, my friends, is almost the whole pack finished. Now, the only thing left for us to do is to grab our task screen, rainbow coal, accept that, and then grab the rainbow coal. Almost all finished with the pack. I cannot believe this. So much time and effort has gone into this pack. It has been such a fun journey doing this. Throw all the speed upgrades in, place the rainbow coal in, and then just watch as it finishes. And that, my friends, is it. I do believe that is this entire quest chapter done. And all I have to do now is grab my creative bin. And in doing this, oh man, in doing this, we now complete the final challenge just like this. The final chapter complete. And what we get from this is a creative bin with infinite vending upgrades. And there's also a recipe, by the way. I want to put this right next to my infinite heads. Infinite creative vending upgrades, which allow us to turn any of our functional storage drawers into creative containers for any item. So absolutely amazing that we can do this. So anything that we want in this pack now at this point that we don't have, for example, cake. Let's say we want an infinite barrel of cake. We can create a network to tap into our applied energistics system. We simply place our cake in, and then we place our creative vending upgrade on here. And now we have an infinite supply of that item. And that, my friends, is it. And you can take the creative upgrade out of it anytime you want. And if you prefer the bins better, well, there's a recipe for the bins. And of course, it's hilarious that it is set up this way because now you can make infinite final stars. So if we take the stars, of course, we can creative bin the final stars. So I take this, pull that out, place the star in, put the creative upgrade in, and now we have an unlimited supply. Or another thing you can do if you absolutely want to, instead of crafting them that way, you can take the one remaining creative bin that you have, and you can creative vending that one as well, just by simply placing the creative bin in here, and then putting your upgrade in, and now you can pull out as many creative bins as you want. And that, my friends, is essentially ProjectArchitect 2. And I really hope that you've enjoyed this playthrough, and I hope you've enjoyed this pack. It has been a tremendously fun journey making this mod pack, and of course, making it from my perspective of something that I've wanted from a mod pack. And I hope you guys have gotten some enjoyment out of it as well. And if you have, give this video a huge thumbs up, and also click that subscribe button. Maybe go back and rewatch the whole thing from the start again, if you really wanted to. But of course, join the Discord. There is still going to be active development on this pack, active updates happening for quite a while as I continue to work on this mod pack. There probably won't be as many videos coming out of this for this mod pack, but there definitely will still be development updates. And yeah, I'll keep you updated on it for sure. Now, definitely don't forget, if you are a supporter of any tier, to get your download, world download that is, over on the Discord. There will be a world download, basically a snapshot of my world at this current moment with all of the in-game stuff in my applied energistics system ready for you guys to play with. So if that's something you're interested in and you want a beautiful test bench, this right here is a great world to test out all of your modded contraptions. So that way you can build, plan, and test all of the things that you're going to do in your world, well, in this one. And now I can't leave you just yet without letting you see my statistics page, because this is honestly a huge thing. Of course, you can pause if you want to check out any specific thing. Fish caught 0. I love how I never even caught a fish. I never interacted with a smithing table, even though we did craft the hand tool one. Items enchanted 143, which is kind of interesting. Not too many, actually. I have died 3 times in this world. One of them was by my own bow, which is kind of funny. But I have 7.68 days of playtime in this world, which, to be fair, is not a whole lot for as much stuff as I feel like I've done. But I do feel like I've gotten faster and faster at getting things set up. And so, yeah, with that comes just faster playtimes. So now for me to sit down at the table next to Sonic, Shrek, Batpig, and of course, Rich Pig over here, and well, just kind of take a break for a while. That's kind of what I want to do. And so I hope you did enjoy this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Let's Play. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Bye!